easy watercolor tutorial will show you how to paint a jumble mess of Christmas lights perfect for the holidays. I love making homemade cards. I love making tags for Christmas gifts. Anything homemade at Christmas time is my favorite, and watercolor painting is such an easy way to personalize Christmas cards, gifts, and just a great way to express yourself this season. If you want to support my channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot. Today I am using my Winsor Newton Travel Palette watercolor set and a piece of Canson paper that I'm going to be using as a card. So this is such a great Christmas card because basically you're going to be painting blobs of color to represent old-fashioned Christmas lights. I'm keeping my shape kind of that traditional Christmas light shape where it's pointier at the bottom, but you could do these circular, you could do them small like the Christmas lights that you would wrap around a Christmas tree that are smaller and twinklier. And I'm doing the old-fashioned, very colorful theme, but you could certainly do like just red and green, or any color combination that you would like. The most important thing to make it look like it's a shining, twinkling light is leaving a gap of white somewhere on your light. So you can see that I'm doing kind of the shape first, then I'm filling in like the left-hand side, adding a little bit of water and leaving a really nice white area that's going to make these lights come alive. I'm doing mine kind of in a unorganized, random assortment. I'm thinking about that feeling when you're taking out your Christmas decorations and you're like, oh, these lights are so jumbled up. And I think it's a really fun and festive symbol because Christmas lights are happy and bright and so joyous, but also sometimes putting them up, getting them organized can be a little bit stressful, overwhelming, and you have these high expectations for the season that sometimes just doesn't get lived up to. So I really enjoy that kind of metaphor that I'm going for with this card. So I'm doing my second color now, and I'm doing green, and you can see the red is seeping into the green a little bit, which was a goal of mine because these twinkling lights would be reflecting on each other. So it's not like the color would be isolated to just the bulb itself. They would kind of blend together and reflect together to create overlapping colors. I am using a tissue to blot away my white highlight since I didn't leave a gap as well as I did with my red. I wanted my lights to touch and overlap, but you could certainly do this in a more organized fashion, like the lights are draped on the window, draped on the tree in a more organized way. But again, I'm going for the chaos of Christmas, so I'm going to add lots of colors, change the direction of my ornaments, and have them overlap, go off the page, and interact as much as possible. To control the way the paint bleeds a little bit, I do leave a slight gap, like you can see in that red and green. I didn't have the red completely touch the green because there was so much water on the paper and brush. I didn't want them to blend together completely. So there's a little bit of whimsy, there's a little bit of control though to make sure it's, I don't want them to turn brown or anything, but I'm not afraid of them bleeding together just a little bit. So I'm liking my color combination, but yellow really makes this that old-fashioned Christmas, and I'm thinking of the Machado family Christmas tree from the 80s. So when we were little kids, we had these just colorful lights, and I can just still feel that memory of walking upstairs to our living room and seeing this Christmas tree filled with promise and just love and joy. I don't know I know it's not just me. Christmas is so filled with nostalgia, happy memories. Sometimes it can be totally overwhelming. So again, that's kind of the vibe I'm going for, happy, joyous, but also that kind of overwhelming feeling of Christmas. This is a hard Christmas for lots of us, not being able to be with family. Like for me, I live in a different state as my family, so I'm not able to see my parents or my sister who, they're both high risk, and so we decided we would do Christmas when we could do it all together safely. So it's even more important to me to kind of celebrate those old traditions and remember them, but not get too focused on what I'm missing out on. So my final step here before I let this dry is adding the tops. And I could have done this with pen, and I wanted them to dry a little bit. You can see that they are blending into the colors just like the other lights that overlapped. And I'm just using my dark brown, my burnt umber, and this is the part of the bulb that attaches to the wire. And that wire is going to be a really important final step to this painting. Let it dry completely, and now it's time for my favorite part, adding my pen designs. And that's one of my favorite illustrative techniques, is going back into watercolor and defining edges and lines with a pen. You could also do this with your paintbrush, I would recommend waiting until it dries so that you have really fine control of your line work. But for me, I just love the style of pen and watercolor. It's something I've done a lot in my personal art. I'm using a fine tip Sharpie, but you could use any brand of pen that you like. And I'm starting by just defining the edges of each of the bulbs. And sometimes I leave a little white space to create another twinkling highlight. So this is kind of the easy part because you've already established the shape of the bulb and you're just going through and adding that nice kind of stark line, really giving it dimension, shape, and clarity as to like which bulb belongs to which. I'm doing the same with the little, I should know what this is called, whatever attaches the wire to the bulb itself, that darker little cylindrical shape that I added. And I'm just gonna go through and define each bulb before I start thinking about the direction of the light, or the wire of the lights, I should say. Let's speed things up since there's so much repetition. So once you have all of your bulbs defined the way you want them, it's time for truly the fun part, the electrical cords that will be tangled up and really provide movement lines throughout this Christmas card. So this is a fun work of art because you can jumble up your lights as much as you would like, you can kind of cross over behind and in front, and it creates a lot of movement to kind of this chaotic scene of Christmas bulbs tangled together. So I like doing this with the pen so I can really control the lines, and it's a simple little double line I have going here. I'm gonna cross in front of some of the bulbs, behind the others, and I'm just kind of figuring out how much is too much and how to create unity and movement in my work of art, creating that scene of Christmas chaos without going overboard. This is pretty much it. I want to thank you so much for watching this video, subscribing to my channel. Thank you for all the support in this crazy year of 2020. I hope everyone has a fantastic holiday, whether you celebrate Christmas or not. And if you're itching for some more watercolor techniques, check out these really simple tutorials that are my absolute favorites.